Hi, today I wanted to talk about GMOs, genetically modified organisms, and why we are seeking to get them labeled. Genetically modified organisms are anything in which a gene from a different species, such as an animal, a bacteria, a virus, or human, or even another plant, has been introduced into them. And this has to be done in a lab setting at the DNA level. This is not like Mendel's experiment he did of natural selection with the peas, where he bred them selectively to make it. This is not hybrids where you graft on one plant onto another. It's nothing like that. GMOs, literally, you go into the lab, you open up their DNA, you remove something, and you put something else in that never would have made it in there in a natural way, in any fashion. Even though the agencies would like to say that this is no different than nature, but it really is. It all started back in like the late 80s, I want to say. It was the Flavor Saver tomato. A trout gene was introduced into the tomato to make it that it could handle the cooler temperatures and shipping better. Thing tasted horrible, but it was, I guess, the nation's first realization that GMOs were being introduced into our food supply. After that, you had a lot of different other varieties. The most common ones people are familiar with on a daily basis are Monsanto's Roundup Ready varieties. These have a soil bacterium that is resistant to their herbicide Roundup, and they have to take it, add the E. coli virus to it to grow more of it. Then they take the cauliflower mosaic virus to make it proliferate within the cells. It also has an antibiotic marker that is also E. coli, so that they can add an antibiotic to it to make sure it's been infiltrated into the cell. If you watch Future Food, they explain all of this to you. You then have to take that, and you take either a gene gun that shoots it nanoparticles of gold with this inside of them to inject it into a host plant, or you take a root fungus that breaks apart the roots and infiltrates that way. The end being that it takes over the host plant, introduces its DNA into every cell, and then they take those plants and give you the seeds for them to grow. They were supposed to be resistant to their Roundup, which is also derived very much from their older product they used to sell, which was Agent Orange. It's got the polyglycate, I believe is the name of it. 2DR or 2RD is its chemical name. Everybody knows it differently though. But anyways, these were supposed to have this higher yield and all this stuff. You end up using more resources with these things. You have more water usage, more pesticides, more herbicides, and it doesn't yield as much. It causes so much damage to the environment around it via runoff or the soil, because it's killing all of the other natural organisms in the soil that actually makes soil what it is. So you're ending up with this very hard, compact, inorganic matter that is not growing stuff very well. So you're having to put more fertilizers to it to make it grow. The problem with a lot of these GMOs is that the cells, this modification hasn't been tested to see what the long-term ramifications are. People have done tests with like non-GMO versions and GMO versions and have found that animals won't go anywhere near the GMO versions. They inherently know something's wrong with it. It has the bacteria virus combination in it, in the 4 common ones that most people will encounter, which are cotton, corn, canola, and soy. In addition to that, the cotton and corn have Bt. It's another bacterium that's added that creates a pesticide within every cell. This is supposed to get rid of all of the insects that eat it, but workers even in India who used to handle it would come down ill, and I believe some even died because of the exposure to it. You have a lot of these issues with this product that has not been tested. the makers don't want you to know that there is a superweed that has become resistant to their Roundup. So this genetic modification they've added is no good now. The superweed grows 3 inches a day, and so there's no reason for that. Not only that, you have a beetle that has become resistant to the GMO, the Roundup Ready versions of stuff, and then in the corn, which also has the BT version that creates the pesticide, there is now a worm that has figured out how to unlock that. So now its natural predators can't come after it because they don't have that resistance to it, but this one does. So now he can decimate all the corn crops all he wants. There are others. Aqua Bounty is coming out with what we call Frankenfish. This is a salmon that has an eel gene spliced into it, which now it's not kosher, and unless it's wild caught salmon, I'm not going near it. I'm not even going to touch farmed fish. The eel gene makes the fish grow faster. That's their whole idea. Make it grow faster to get it to market so you have more of it. The problem is you're messing with its inherent structure. There isn't testing on what the long-term effects of this are. I've heard of a soy plant, since it has phytoestrogens, that they're trying to splice in human genes so that it should create like a breast milk. So you'd have a soy-based breast milk that would be coming from these things. You know, they keep messing with a lot of stuff, and they really need to stop. We would like to get GMOs labeled so that those of us who would like to just eat things the way God created them can eat them that way. If you want to continue eating a GMO, even though you know all the damage it does to the environment, the unknown health effects that it does, that even though the rats and others who came near it had issues. So there's a lot of evidence to this. You can look at the LabelGMOs.org website, go to the resource page, and it will lead you to all the links that have all the backup for everything that I've noted to you. We here in California are trying to get this as a ballot initiative on the 2012 cycle.